As time goes on, you're going to hear more and more people saying a phrase. And this is the phrase right here in our Latin letters. It's Baruch, over here, Baruch Haba Bashem Yahuah. Now this means blessed is the one coming in the name of Yahuah. Yahusha was responding in, I think it was Matthew 23, verse 39 or so. He was quoting Psalm 118, verse 26. And he was saying to these people who were criticizing his Talmudim, or disciples, as he was riding in on a donkey into the city of Jerusalem on the 10th day of the first month. He was being selected as the Lamb of Yahuah at that point. Because you select the Lamb on the 10th day of the first month. And 4 days later, he was being executed, the Lamb. But he was quoting that psalm for a reason. His disciples were yelling, Baruch Haba Bashem Yahuah. What is significant about that? They weren't using English or Korean or Greek or Latin. They were saying it in Hebrew, their language. And Yahusha was rebuked by the Pharisees, and they said, Rabbi. They were calling him Rabbi. Rebuke your disciples, because they were saying the name. This name right behind me, right here. It's written on these 10 commandments too, several times. Call on the name, Yahuah. They weren't doing that. Psalm 118, verse 26, and the verses around it, are describing the stone that the builders rejected. That's the name. And they didn't want anybody saying the name, so that's why they told Yahusha, don't let him say it. And then he said something very interesting. He said, you will not see me again until you say, Baruch Haba Bashem Yahuah. We are saying it, and we are meaning it. We know who he is. They worship what they do not know, because they don't know his name. They don't even know what he wants. He wants obedience to these commandments, and they train you how to love him and love your neighbor. Until you learn that lesson, you're not going to be one of us. Not to be boasting, but he came into some of us, and he's coming into more and more of you because you're waking up. There was an awakening around 2008. After 2,730 years, the Ephraim, the northern tribes, the house of Yisrael, began to wake up because the curse was over. Ezekiel, or Yechezkel, was laying on his side for 390 days for the house of Yisrael. And he laid on his other side for the house of Yehuda. There's 2 houses. It's a divided house right now. But when he comes back, he's going to put the 2 branches, the 2 sticks together. And after 390 days of laying on one side for the house of Yisrael, it was for them to repent. But, they didn't repent. And so Ezekiel, or Yechezkel, is the watchman over the house of Yisrael. And what he was doing was he was giving them time to repent. And they didn't repent. So they didn't return. They're still out here in the nations, multiplying and multiplying and multiplying. And the house of Yisrael is now awakening in the midst of the nations, in all the places where he scattered us. Ephraim represents all the 10 tribes of the north that were scattered. But they didn't repent after 390 years. So Leviticus chapter 26 kicked in, causing their curse to be 7-fold. 390 years times 7. 2,730 years. And that came to a close in around 2008. Exactly the same year, the papal bull was issued where the Pope said that no one was to say the name of Yahuwah out loud in praise, song, reading. You're not allowed to say it. In 2008. Coinkydink? Is that a coinkydink? No. It's odd that it would happen that way. But it gets a lot of our attention. BARUK HABA BASHEM YAHUAH. We're saying it. If anybody causes one of these little ones to stumble or to sin, it would be better for them to have a millstone tied around their neck and to be cast into the depths of the sea. Those are the words of Yahusha. What has happened is they withheld the name for many, many centuries. They are outlawing the name. They're teaching them all the pagan practices with a little coating over them so nobody knows what they mean. And in a few weeks we're going to have another pagan celebration that used to be called Lupercalia in the Roman system, where Romulus and Remus were being celebrated. And a mating festival was going on. And then it turned into Valentine's Day, and they moved it one day earlier, and a fictional man named Valentine was labeling it. And they're teaching little children to send cards around and little heart candies. You know, this is an abomination, but it's teaching children to do things that were done by the Romans, to worship their deity of wine. And I'll put a link to some more information in the bottom of this video about that. But don't do that to your children. Don't teach them that. It's done in the secular schools. Witches don't mind it. They're happy with it. There shouldn't be anything in common with witchcraft and Christianity, should there? But it's all witchcraft. The bunny rabbits, the eggs, the Christmas trees, even the dates of their festivals, all of them. Halloween. It's not looking good. Yahusha's about to return. And one of the indications that he's going to return is that we're saying, like he said we would, BARUK HABA BASHEM YAHUAH. Get ready. We'll see you in the next video.